Hey everyone, welcome back to the road trip from the frigid north. Or maybe the road trip from the top of Everest, because that's how cold it was. Or maybe the road trip from, I don't know, Antarctica. I mean, it was so cold out, the penguins didn't even go outside for the penguin walk at the Calgary Zoo. The polar bears were happy, but everyone else wasn't. So, I'm filming this inside because it's still cold out. I know it's still cold out and it's just too cold to do it out there. Sorry, I'm old and soft. I apologize for being old and soft. But how far did the F-150 Lightning go when it was minus 42 Celsius? Okay, that's minus 45 Fahrenheit. And with the wind chill, it was minus 54. That's right, minus 54 Celsius. Minus 54 Celsius. That's minus 68 Fahrenheit. This is ridiculous. So how did the Lightning do? I had no choice. I had to do a 400-kilometer highway for work. Just had to. There was no way around it. And I drive a Lightning. So what do? I just want to let you know, I had no choice. That's just the way it went. Well, preconditioned and off I went. My truck said I could go 450 kilometers when I got into it. And there's no way I knew there was no way I was going to get that. I put the short thing down in the link so you can see what I did in the short when I kind of showed where we started off and how it was going. But I knew I was going to be where I was going to be until pretty late at night, and when I had to come back, it was going to be minus 50. Or more. And it was. It was windy. It was unbelievable. So, how far did I go in minus 45 with the wind chill of minus 54? And it was windy. And I gotta tell you, the wind probably hurt my range more than anything. But I only got, are you ready? 260 kilometers. Okay? 260 kilometers. That's it. I left with 450. That's 275 miles. So 275 miles, should have got to 275. The 450 kilometers was 50 kilometers more than I needed. I should have got it. No way. First of all, heat's on high, fans on 3 or 4 the whole trip. I'm not going to freeze my ass. I'm not going to be freezing. Okay? And turning the heat off is not an option. The windows would have fogged up and I wouldn't have been able to drive. So, drove to where I got, which was about 200 kilometers away. I had to be there for about 7-8 hours to take care of something, and then I had to come back. So, I got all the way there, no problem. But my 450 turned into 100. And I knew, okay, I don't have anywhere to charge where I got to. I did have a 120 outlet though. And a lot of people are like, oh, 120. Well, 120 outlet gives me 1 kilowatt per hour. Okay? This is why you keep your truck plugged in when it's really, really cold out. It's not a lot of electricity. A 120 outlet is all you need. So I plugged it in. That kept the battery warm and kept everything warm. Okay? So I plugged it in at that 120 outlet and went and did what I needed to do. But when I needed to leave, I only had, instead of 100 kilometers range, 110. I mean, a 120 outlet takes 4 or 5 days to charge the truck. So I didn't have that. But I had to come back. So where am I going to go? Well, I knew there was a 50 kilowatt hour charger and I checked the app and I checked everything. And you got to remember, it was 40 kilometers away. So it better be working or I'm stranded. And this is where EVs get a bad rap in the cold weather and towing. Because if I don't get to charge at that charger, I don't get to charge anywhere. Well, I know someone that lives in that town. I could go over to their house and plug into a 120. They don't even have a dryer outlet that I could plug into. So, I drove there. No problem. Nobody there. Of course. You know, it's 9 o'clock at night. It's minus 50. Almost froze plugging it in. I didn't even get a video of it. I was so cold. I jumped out. It was unbelievable. unbelievable. I don't even know how those movie making people make these videos and stuff where it's really cold. I don't know how they do it. It's just like your brain shuts down when it's that cold. Got it plugged in, had to sit there for 2 hours because it was only running at 40 kilowatt hours. And I got to tell you, you got to make sure you got enough to get home. I know I had another 130 kilometers to go or so, maybe 150 kilometers to go, and it was really cold and very, very windy. I cannot stress how windy it was. In fact, my range loss was mostly due to wind than it was cold. If it was just minus 40 and no wind, probably would have not needed to charge. I think I would have got my 300. I would have needed to charge, but I would have easily got my 300 that I normally get when it's minus 20. Because when it's minus 20 out, the F150 Lightning goes 300 kilometers without even thinking about it. Gets it every time. Unlike that Cybertruck that only goes 250 miles, 400 kilometers, in warm weather conditions. If it was here when it was minus 40, that thing would have gone to maybe 125 miles. 120. I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh. That's like 200 kilometers. I wouldn't even have got to my destination with the Cybertruck. And it's smaller than the F-150 Lightning. It's like, people don't realize it's smaller. But anyways, that's what you get. So if you're going to buy a Lightning and you're going to drive it around where it's minus 40 and you're going to take it on the highway, you're only going to get 260 kilometers. That's all I got. That's all I would have gotten. In fact, I would say 250 is all I would have gotten because it was very, very, very windy. And minus 54. And there you go. That's all you're going to get. Your 525 turns into 250. Period. More than half loss. And the heat pump wouldn't have made a difference. It was so windy, the heat pump would not have made a difference. It might have gave me 5 or 6 kilometers, and it's just not worth the money. Okay? So, there you go. If you live where it's really cold. Now, driving around the city, it is no problem, no issue. Who cares? You're never traveling 300 kilometers in a day, driving around in your city when it's minus 45 outside. If you're doing that, there's chargers everywhere. Go home and charge. You know, you can find chargers. So there you go. When it's minus 45, minus 54 with the wind chill, 250 kilometers is all you get. That's it. That's all you're going to get. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope it's warm where you are, as in, 0 degrees, 32 Fahrenheit. Compared to what it is here, that's t-shirt weather, man. That is t-shirt weather. Have yourself a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you in the future.